locked inside with nowhere to go and plenty of time on our hands. You know what that means. And you know what that leads to. A baby boom. Right? Nope.
Not right now. This whole virus is definitely delayed, I think, any plans for that right now.
Let's just say quarantine life doesn't have everybody rushing out to make more babies.
I'm Mackenzie Hadala.
And I'm Ben Hadala, and we're in Royal Oak, Michigan.
They're about to enter their 12th year as a couple, their 4th as husband and wife, and 2nd as parents.
All right, Ben, why don't you
This year will be their most challenging one.
At first, it was definitely an adjustment, taking care of a toddler day in and day out while still trying to manage and navigate work.
Yeah, it's difficult already raising your first child, going through all their milestones and then bringing this into it has been difficult, but we have been trying to make the most of it.
There are millions of Ben and Mackenzies all across America dealing with the stresses of this catastrophe in millions of different ways. Experts just don't think many of those involve baby making.
I would say it's probably not a giant aphrodisiac. My name is Karen Benjamin Guzzo. I'm a sociology professor at Bowling Green State University, and I am the director of the Center for Family and Demographic Research.
The tragedy of this pandemic aside, this crisis has created a fascinating social science experiment for researchers. You've got people who are trapped inside with nothing else to do, and you know what happens.
Well, I think to the extent that that does happen, it'll be offset by all the people who are just really stressed. And so looking forward, I think that uncertainty is really going to weigh heavily on people a lot.
America's birth rate tends to drop every time there's economic instability. The early 80s, the early 90s, the early 2000s, the Great Recession, etc. But not every couple is stressed. Some are just bored, like when a blackout or blizzard forces you to shack up and find a way to keep yourself busy.
This isn't a one-time blackout, I've got nothing to do for the next 3 days, let's go ahead. This is sustained stress.
And don't expect a World War II kind of baby boom either, when the country saw 2 decades worth of soaring birth rates.
World War II ended, all the soldiers came home, people were happy, the economy was going really well, there was massive investment in families and suburbs and schools. There's a lot of good things happening to look forward to. We don't have that right now.
Other factors working against the boom: fewer singles meeting new people right now, the difficulty in getting semi-permanent birth control like IUDs removed during a lockdown, and easier access to other forms of birth control over the years that have dramatically reduced the number of oopsies. There are reasons some people will be more likely to have kids in a pandemic: newfound appreciation for close family bonds, or concerns about one's own mortality when surrounded by tragedy. It's also harder to get emergency contraception or abortion during a lockdown. You also don't really get fear of missing out when most of your single friends are locked inside their homes too. However, with America's birth rate in a long-term decline, experts say it's more likely the trend continues in the next few years, even making it possible that the US death rate could surpass its birth rate for the first time in history. So what do we need to do to give our baby making a little extra pep in its step?
But we want to make sure that when society opens back up, that we have maybe some fundamental changes that help support people across socioeconomic and racial lines and all sorts of things to help them feel more confident in their own futures.
For the Hadalas, it'll be a different kind of certainty.
I think when families again are able to be a part of that experience, when hospitals don't look like Fort Knox to enter, to come and go.
Just being with family again, all together, celebrating what we haven't been able to celebrate through all of this.
At that point, we would feel comfortable bringing in another family member.